Hi everyone and welcome to Jack and Cat Adventures. Today we're going to be making all things pickled. So we're going to do different vegetables. We're going to pickle them in different ways and it's going to be delicious. The reason I'm doing this is it's summer. You're going to be getting fresh vegetables and you're going to go to picnics and barbecues and all that, and all of this, especially what we're going to do first, is delicious on a hamburger, okay? So we're going to start out with quick pickled red onions. You only need 2 onions. I'm doing more because 2 onions is not enough. If you're going to do it, at least double it. So what you're going to do is clean and peel your onions, and then you're going to slice them very thinly. I'm going to use this mandolin, and I'm just going to do it slowly because I don't want to hit my hand. Once you get down far enough, use the guard. Please use the guard. Alright, once your onions are sliced, we're going to start the brining. So what you need is 1 1/4 cup of water in a saucepan, okay? You're going to heat it just below simmering, okay? You don't want this to boil. And then you're going to need 1 1/4 cups of white vinegar, 3 tablespoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon of sea salt. I'm using fine sea salt. And 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, optional. I'm not putting those in. We don't like heat here. Now remember, I am doubling mine, so the ingredients I am giving you is what you need, not to double. Okay? Now make sure your jars are clean, which I did. I did not sterilize mine because I'm not going to use the pressure canner. These are just going to go in the refrigerator. They'll last up to 2 weeks, probably longer. And what we're going to start doing is, hold on 1 second, let me dry off the outside of my jar. We're going to start putting our onions in this jar. Okay? Alright, my water's ready. It has very little bubbles on the bottom. It's perfect. Take it down, okay? So what you're going to do now is you're going to add your vinegar, sugar and salt, and red pepper flakes if using. You're going to stir that and let it sit until the sugar and the salt dissolves. Now, what I'm going to do is I decided to switch because I'm going to make some pickled asparagus and stuff. I'm going to use the bigger jars for that. And I'm going to use these smaller jars for my onions. Now, if you can get wide mouth, that would be better. I didn't have wide mouth, and I'm just using what I have at home, and these are good for gifts too. So you're going to start putting your onions into your jars. And it looks like a lot, you guys, but it's really not once you pack it down and get the juices on it and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the back of a spoon, and I'm just going to pound that down in there really tight.
It may seem like a lot of onions, but once you start eating them, they go very quickly.
I mean, you can put more than a handful on your burger, and that's half a jar. So don't be afraid to double this. You guys won't be disappointed.
This is one of our favorite condiments here.
And just keep pressing it down. I mean, don't break them into little pieces, but get it down as much as you can. Use your hand if you can get it in there. You just want them packed pretty tightly in there.
Otherwise, you end up with just a jar of brine.
And if you are done with the onions, keep the brine, cut more onion, and stick it in. It works just as good. You could do that a couple of times. Alright, so now you're going to need at least a 1/2 inch of head space. And what that means is you don't want to go over a 1/2 inch of your top of your jar, okay? And that goes for your liquids too. So while this is going, I will continue to stuff onions in the jar and we'll get back to you. Alright, once your mixture, all the sugar and salt has dissolved, we're going to start adding it to our jars. I am using a canning funnel. I'll put a link down below. I got it on Amazon. It just makes it easier if you're not using wide mouth. If you're using wide mouth, it's pretty easy to get it in. Now watch how you're pouring it in, because you want to watch the side, because you only want it to come up a quarter. You want excuse me, you want a half of a head on the top so that it will seal. So once you start getting your liquid in there, you're going to keep pressing down just gently. Make sure all of the onions are under the liquid, okay? Just want to
Keep going. About an eighth an inch more.
I think that's good.
Yeah, there you go.
Alright, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take a clean cloth. I'm just going to use a paper towel. And I'm going to wipe that rim just for cleanliness. Okay? So what you're going to do is just wipe your rim really good. Put on your lid, and then you're going to put it in the refrigerator for overnight. Like I said, you could eat them in 30 minutes. They're best overnight. But if in your hurry and you want it on your burger, go ahead and do that, okay? So I got 4 of these jars. I have a little bit of red onion left. I'm going to put it in with my other vegetables. Alright, now we're going to move on to more of the dill pickle side. And what I have here is some asparagus. This is a little bit thicker than I like, but it's all I could find. So what you want to do is you want to clean your asparagus, wash it, and then just take it, and wherever it breaks, that's what you want to discard. And you want to make sure that it stands up in your jar. If it's too tall, cut off a piece, and that's a tender piece, stick it right back into the jar. You can eat that, okay? So then what I'm going to do is, after I'm done doing that, I'm going to trim off the ends of my green beans and stick them in. I'm going to put some baby corn in mine and some carrots, and then I'll tell you what we're going to do after that. Alright, once you have all your vegetables in here, I just put a bunch of different ones. I'm just going to try it. I've done pickled asparagus before and I loved it, so I thought I'd just pickle some like extra things. So you're going to put in 1 clove of garlic cut in half. Now, I would add more than 1. And we're going to do a half of a shallot thinly sliced. I'm going to do a full, just because it just adds more flavor. Just make sure it's thinly sliced.
And don't slice your fingers.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to stick that in there. Okay, then we're going to add a few sprigs of fresh dill. Stick it in there any way you can. I think I'll do 3 sprigs. I think that'll be good. I just kind of move things aside and stick it in. Once you add the liquid to it, it'll all go into the bottom. Okay, now we're going to move on to our liquid. Alright, so in a pan, you're going to put 1 cup of white vinegar, 1 cup of water, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon of sea salt. We're going to cook this until the sugar and the salt's dissolved. Alright, now that the sugar and the salt has dissolved, I'm going to pour this hot mixture over our vegetables. So use caution. I put a hot pan underneath so nothing is hot on my counter. And I'm just going to ladle this in. Now, the reason we're putting this hot over this is it will kind of cook or soften, I want to say, the vegetables, and that's what you want. And I did double the liquids for this big jar. If you're using smaller jars, you won't need to double it. But I gave you the single recipe equivalents. Alrighty. So we're going to let this cool. And then once it's cool, we're going to put it in the refrigerator. One thing I forgot to tell you, before you seal it up, we're going to add a few peppercorns to it, however much you want. I'm going to do just a small palm full. Stick that in there. And then we're going to let it cool. And then once it's totally, completely cool, then we'll put it in the refrigerator. Alright, so here's our finished products. I did do something different this time. On the white lid, I used the brine that I used on the quick pickles. I'm trying it on the vegetables too, so we'll see if we like the sweet compared to the dill, and I will let you know. So please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and remember, you do you.